Call the City Council of Halstead meeting to order. Are there any agenda changes?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, under executive session, we need to add a executive session for attorney-client privilege.
Okay. Do we have anyone who would like to speak tonight?
I've been here the last couple of years. My name is Mike Fellows, and I represent the Harvey County Constitution Contest. Probably spoke to some of you last year, but I got a couple of handouts for you if I can.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
This will be the fourth year of the program. And all five of the schools in Harvey County have agreed to participate. But you're asking, what are they gonna participate in possibly? I guess the question I can ask you all is, on September 17th, the federal government in 2004 enacted a law that made a requirement on all the schools. Do you know what that would be? The federal government in 2004 passed a law that requires all federally funded schools to teach the Constitution of the United States. They don't specify what form, what method, what you have to go teach. My wife was a music teacher, so she used to teach the children songs about the Constitution. A little over 4 years ago, I came up with this idea to have a program that's very unique, and it was to offer a contest to the high school seniors to write an essay question that answers a question that will be put on a piece of paper for them. And after they've finished the task, I need to have judges, which is why I'm here, to review the papers and to rank them and judge them. While I'm doing that process, I go from school to school, then from school district to school district and city council to city council. My goal is to get 12 to 14 judges. Last year we had 11, and it went real well. But the thing about that is it exposes all of you to what the kids in the county are thinking. You'll be given the question at the same time that the students will, so you get to do a little bit of research on your own if you choose to do that. And we have the dates on the flyer. The judges will be meeting on October 15th. All the information about that evening are on there. On October 15th, we gather at 6 o'clock over in Newton at the Zion Lutheran Church, and it's a 3 to 4 hour process to read the papers, rank them, and turn them in. After that, we tabulate all the scores, and we determine the top 3 winners. Last year, I was fortunate enough with the businesses that I knocked on their doors that I made more money than I anticipated because I had some great sponsors last year. So we actually had a 4th and 5th place. I stop at 3 because if I don't raise the money, I'm responsible for it. So, but you know, people have been very generous, and it's fun watching the businesses get involved in that. And after we judge the papers, you're all welcome to come back to the ceremony. Some judges do. But at the ceremony where we hand out the checks and we give all the kids a certificate, I have the state representatives and the state senator there to hand out the checks. Ron Estes sends up a representative. Ron Erickson comes up and he hands out some of the checks. And on the opening day, September 17th, Ron Estes has the welcoming video to invite the kids to participate in the contest. So what I do is I make this flyer like you have here. And on the back are the rules. We're going to be adjusting a couple of the rules that go home with the kids so that if they're going to participate, they realize that They could be responsible for income taxes because of the size of the check. But we also want their parents involved to know that they're participating in the contest, so we require some signatures for that. The rules are all spelled out, and they have to submit the papers via PDF by a certain amount of time. Derek Schutte has got pretty good response from his students from Halstead. We haven't had a Halstead winner yet. I can always hope, but it's kind of up to the judges is what you go decide. So is what I'm here tonight is if somebody wants to volunteer tonight, I'd love to have a judge. But really, if you can let me know if one of you would be able to give up an evening in October and spend 4 hours with the other elected officials in the county and read some papers and kind of expose yourself to what people think about the question, we'd love to have one of you over there. Some of the changes we're going to make this year, because every year the judges give great feedback, we're actually going to try and give you a short version with the answers so you don't have to do all the research on your own, so that it gives you the opportunity to get prepared so when you read the answers that you kind of know where they should be going. And then we're going to change the ranking system a little bit. It was a little cumbersome last year, but every year we get a little bit better. And again, I've had 2 great judges from Halstead in the past. Well, actually 4 because the school board's been sending people over also. So, you know, Gary, I'm here to see if anybody wants to volunteer tonight, but if not, because you got to go check your schedules and stuff, if you could let me know by your next meeting if somebody from the Halstead City Council wants to be a judge, we'd love to have you. My contact information is in all the paperwork that I gave you so that you can reach me via email or cell phone. And the last thing that I probably put in your packet, it's because it's hard for me to get over Halstead because I do work full-time too. I'm always looking for sponsors. So there's a little flyer about what sponsors do and what they get in there too. So if you own a business or you know somebody that owns a business that might want to participate, we'd love to have you. And that just helps, you know, pay all the bills. It takes me about $3,000 every time I do this to put it on, including the prize money. So that's what I had for you tonight, and I don't know if there's any questions. And
It's a really neat program, and you know, I can't say right now tonight, but I'm really interested. So we'll wait and see. I'll look at my schedule, see what happens.
we'd love to have you. Yeah, it's a lot. I have the most fun because I get to meet one of you from all the different city councils throughout the county. And by the way, Harvey County is the only county in the United States that does this, the way that it's done. There's other constitution contests, there's other essay contests, but this is the only contest that involves students, teachers, local elected officials, state elected officials, and a congressman in the program. So it makes me feel kind of special that it's something unique. I've got a little notoriety from it, from an organization. But it's what's important to me is we have something that draws the people in Harford County together, because it doesn't matter if you're in Burton or Newton, all the kids compete on the same field. So thank you for that.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
Hope to hear from you soon.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak from the floor? With that, we'll close the public forum and move on to the consent agenda.
Did note a correction that needs to be had in the minutes. The work session was labeled for Saturday, and I believe it should be on Monday.
With that, Mr. Mayor, aside from that change, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. And with that, we're gonna drop down to unfinished business, distressed property hearing at 217 Main Street. I believe we have Joel and
Hello? What do you guys want to know? We've concentrated so far on first cleaning it out. then we have gutted it to try and find any of the skeletons and prove some things that I had thought had happened. In the upstairs apartment, to build a false ceiling, they actually cut the tension rods that run from wall to wall. That is what gave it the crack. It's an easy fix, so that's underway. The exterior wall, which you can see we've sealed and started refacing, that addressed the water getting in on that wall. The crumbling brick there, I didn't remove it and I didn't repair it because that's actually a third wall. The 217 has two brick walls, they're joined together. There's a third one that was crumbling, that's the one you could see. That was the outside wall of a previous building. So I just left it, and then we encased it. We have repaired the roof, so the water's not getting in anymore. The only thing really left to do is the big hole there on the northwest corner, which we haven't done anything with yet.
Just out of curiosity, how are you gonna fix that one crack that's in the northeast corner where you can see daylight?
Well, that's with the tension rods. That's what,
Oh, you're pulling it back?
yeah,
Okay, got it.
yeah, I'll have to put them back in and suck it back. It's gonna take 4 of them to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timeframe?
Well, I was under the impression I had 2 years.
Yeah, well, I just wanna know where you think you're
Oh,
at with your pace that you're going. You're gonna get it done in 6 months or?
The outside pretty stuff will be done much sooner than the inside. Tension rods and the exposed corner are next on my immediate list.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So, but all the plumbing, heating, air, electrical's all been gutted. There's no utilities on, and I have no intention of turning them on anytime soon.
Did you take the second floor out?
No, and I don't plan on it.
Salvage
I
it.
plan on turning it back into a 2-bedroom apartment. And then the front half, for any of us lucky enough to go in there when it was a bar, the front half is most likely going to be office. And then the back half, the idea is to create a food truck station, basically, full water, sewer, and electrical hookups in the back on the patio, and then indoor dining in that back 1/3 of it.
Very good.
So, people have asked for a restaurant, people have asked for a laundromat, people have asked for a bar. I'm not interested in the bar or the restaurant. Laundromat does intrigue me, but I have a different facility we'd like to put that in, so. Any other?
Sounds great.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Okay. And it's open. I mean, if you guys want to come through it, I mean, I've picked apart most of the engineering report at this point. And I will be contacting a different engineer to do the assessment at the end.
You're working off of MKECs? Yeah.
Vaguely.
Yeah, yeah.
I went through it and disagreed with a lot of it, but I'll find someone and bring it to you to make sure you guys approve of them before we do it, but.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Joel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for the update. We'll move on to new business.
Actually, if I can, you should make a motion to establish another follow-up date until such time as you have the structural evaluation.
So we're giving him 6 months to give an update, every 6 months?
Yeah, we would suggest no more than that,
Continue
just to
the
keep
hearing
it,
as well.
yeah. So you just make a motion to continue the hearing
When
to,
would our meeting in December fall? 1st of December.
yeah. December 2nd, or the 16th.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to continue the distressed property hearing for 217 Main Street to December 2nd meeting.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. New business. We are going to hear from the Harvey County EDC funding request.
Good evening. So I have some notes this time. I presented to Heston last week, and my husband came with me because he had to drive me. And it was the first time he's ever come to hear me speak, and I said, "How did I do?" And he said, "You did okay. You just said way too much." So for you guys, I've made some notes, so hopefully I'll be better. But thank you for having me tonight so I can talk to you a little bit about the EDC, the history of the EDC, and our funding request. So Harvey County Economic Development Council was founded in 1986 as the Harvey County Jobs Development Council with a mission that remains largely unchanged today to support industrial growth, vitality, and long-term economic health of Harvey County and its communities. Halstead's been an important part of this mission since the beginning. I pulled the Articles of Incorporation, and they were signed by your local leaders, Richard Van Dyke and Larry Williams. Over the years, Halstead's also provided strong leadership through individuals such as Bill Ewert and Larry Williams, who served as presidents, as well as representation on our executive committee. Currently, Ethan serves as an executive committee member. So for nearly 4 decades, Harvey County EDC has operated on the belief that the success of one of our communities contributes to the success of all of our communities. Our residents live, work, shop, and play across municipal boundaries. A Halstead resident may work in Newton, attend events in Wichita, spend weekends enjoying amenities throughout the region. Likewise, residents from neighboring communities contribute to Halstead's businesses, organizations, and quality of life. Because of this interconnectedness, Harvey County EDC approaches economic development from the countywide and regional perspective. We recognize that Harvey County is part of the larger Wichita Metro and that our communities are stronger when we work together to create opportunities for residents and businesses. Our work includes supporting existing businesses to help them grow and succeed, conducting local business retention visits to understand needs and challenges, assisting communities and business with grants, financial programs that might be available, and resources through the state, marketing Harvey County and its communities to prospective employers and investors, responding to project inquiries, RFPs, from businesses, site selectors, Kansas Department of Commerce, and regional partners, and then working with local governments to evaluate the potential projects as they come across. Harvey County EDC works to support Halstead, and we extend those opportunities through workforce development services. We have a unique position where we are the only county within the state of Kansas that is serviced by 2 workforce districts. Our business retention program, my coworker Jennifer Mueller, her main duty is to go out and visit with all of the manufacturers in Harvey County twice each year to make sure that we keep in touch with their needs. We work on grant assistance, so if there are programs that become available that might benefit towns or communities, we share that. Network Kansas, I serve on the Network Kansas board. We've done 2 loans for Halstead businesses. One is being finalized right now. Part of those loans sometimes be grants for them. We do marketing. We've done promotional videos for Halstead as a community, for your industrial park, and for the new spec, or it's not new anymore, but the spec building. We do educational opportunities. We support the Brooks Trade Center. We help them create the new electrical pathway that they have out there that is area-wide, and we're the first Kansas high school to have an electrical pathway program. So a lot of the things that we do encompass everyone, but we do things specific for Halstead as well. Over the past 18 months, Harvey County EDC has submitted Halstead sites and opportunities in response to 32 project requests. One of the most important things to remember about economic development is that it is a long-term investment. Success is measured over years and decades, not months. Not every project lands in every community, but every community benefits when regional economy grows. Companies considering Harvey County are rarely comparing Halstead to Newton or Wichita. More often, they're comparing our region to communities in Texas, Colorado, Oklahoma, or Missouri. When investment comes to Harvey County, whether it lands in Halstead, Newton, Heston, or elsewhere, it strengthens the overall tax base, creates employment opportunities for county residents, and supports the infrastructure and services that benefit us all. Growth within the county helps reduce the tax burden that would otherwise fall solely on residents and existing businesses. Regarding funding, Harvey County EDC's request remains unchanged from last year. When I became the director 10 years ago, we carefully evaluated the organization's financial needs, and at that time, we allowed the 3-year special tax to sunset, and we returned 5% of funding back to each participating partner. We operated successfully with that reduced funding for several years and requested only a modest 5% increase last year. Today, the request from the EDC remains comparable to the level that we were asking in 2012. Thank you again for your partnership and support. The success has always been built on collaboration among its communities. We're stronger when we work together. Do you have any questions?
You did wonderful.
Thank you.
No hums
I didn't say
whatsoever.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
not
I'll let my
one.
husband know.
Yeah.
He was such a critic, yeah.
So since we're not normally involved, what, in a normal year, what all are you supplying the city of Halstead?
Yeah. So we do marketing. We market the industrial park. We meet with local businesses. We help them with grant opportunities, financing. We've had 2 businesses here that we've helped with loans that wouldn't have been otherwise been able to possibly obtain bank financing through other financing through Network Kansas and SBA. We submit on all the RFPs that might be the industrial park, also the Halstead Hospital. A lot of time has been spent over the years marketing the Halstead Hospital, meeting with the former owner and now the current owner on opportunities and trying to find creative ways that that building could be of use again. So we seek out opportunity. We work with the local business that are here to make sure that they're happy. If they have challenges, we bring them to the city and just to try to find opportunity. It is a little bit challenging right now with the industrial land and the size of projects that are coming across, but we think we'll find, like if you look at the KLP, and that was 400 acres that sat vacant forever, and now it's almost full. We had one project come, and then it spurs more growth. That will happen here. If you look at Heston's Industrial Park, it is now full. So now Halstead and the Kansas Logistics Park are our marketing tools here in Harvey County. So they're what we're selling. We know something will happen. It is just as frustrating for us not to have a project land there. We're working on it. We're trying. We engaged another company called GSLI, and they specifically seek out smaller manufacturers that might be growing so that they wouldn't be looking at those mega parcels that are coming across now from the state and a lot of site selectors.
So you have been in contact with our new owner of the hospital?
Yeah, several times. Yeah.
Maybe that's a conversation for another time.
Sure. Yes.
Well, we appreciate the exposure, and just not, and we realize that we're not gonna hit every single, everybody's not gonna wanna be here. They're gonna wanna come here if we meet their needs, and we're just hopeful that one will be coming down the road again.
Yeah.
So.
We're trying. We're hopeful too. Yeah.
The meeting I went to last year was a really engaging meeting, I thought. I enjoyed the feedback back and forth and got a lot of ideas.
We're trying to do some more of those type of things so that people can understand how the projects work and
To me, it was very informative because I hadn't been to one, and it taught me a lot that I
Good.
didn't know, so.
good. Thank you for coming.
Just an hour, so, yeah, I thought it was very good, so.
Okay.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We need I'm gonna ask the council to very seriously consider this. This is a large sum of money. And I think we're going to be looking for places to find money in the near future. So
I think this one we can't market ourselves. And nobody, we can say we can market it, but we don't have the people to do it and go out and do it. I think it's important that we keep our foot in the door. It just takes one time to get it. And I know it hasn't changed, and it's $18,900, but we couldn't hire somebody to market for us to do that, and I don't think this is a place we should cut. Not in my opinion.
My opinion is we need the opportunity to have our industrial park out there and have it be known.
Absolutely.
I think we all know and understand that the revenue stream from tax of commercial properties is more than it would be residential. So I think if we can find a business to come in, a commercial business of some sort, it's definitely to the benefit of our community. That's how I feel. So I'm in favor. It is a good more portion of money, but I'm in favor of doing it.
If there's no other comment, I'll make a motion to approve the funding request for Harvey County Economic Development Council.
A second for that?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, it carries. Very good.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
Then we'll move to general obligation go bond sale presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, lady and gentlemen of the council. Brett Sjogren with Stiefel Public Finance, city's financial advisor. Thank you for having me here tonight. At a previous meeting, you adopted a resolution, a bond sale resolution authorizing the sale of $2,090,000 of general obligation bonds. These are to basically pay off temporary notes that were issued in 2023 for paving and I believe sanitary sewer improvements on Main Street and Stutzman Street. Kind of a mixture of city-at-large projects and special assessment development projects. So those projects were complete. We were able to size the bond issue to issue permanent financing. And with adoption of that resolution, it scheduled a public sale of the general obligation bonds for today, June 17th at 10 o'clock a.m. this morning. In the middle of that, we worked with your staff to develop the preliminary official statement, which is the offering document or prospectus to help inform investors and purchasers about the city and the credit and the project, and basically mostly how they'll get paid back for their investment. We submitted that document to S&P Global for an underlying credit rating, which is kind of like a credit score for an individual, but they rate the city as a whole. And they assigned an A-plus stable rating, which is a great rating, an investment grade rating. It's a little bit lower than previous ratings, and that's mainly because your fund balances compared to the previous year have gone down a little bit. And there's various reasons for that. You may have thought you've got enough money, you can absorb that and it'll be fine. Rating agencies really like fund balances. They like a rainy day fund in case everybody stops paying their taxes. You've got a rainy day fund to make to the bond payments. So, but an A-plus stable rating, they still gave you a stable outlook. And all that said, I really feel like the bond sold like a AA- rating. We were advisor to Soldier Township for a sale, which is in Shawnee County. Had a sale on Monday. Exact same rating, exact same bond insurer. It was a non-bank qualified issue, so it should have sold a little bit higher yields, but they sold at yields about 25 basis points above what we got today. And JT mentioned he had another sale with another city that was a AA- rating that sold above what this one did. So I feel like investors still like the credit, and we still got a really good result. But this morning we opened the bids at 10 a.m. We received 2 bids. The best bid, and I passed that around today, was from Robert W. Baird and Company. You'll see the results. They put interest rates on basically the first or the shorter half of the deal at 5%, and then the longer half at 4%. They bid a little bit of premium, a $64,164.50 premium to enhance their bid. And accounting for that premium, the true interest cost to the city was 3.8886%. So basically $389 on a 20-year issue. The cover bid was from Northland Securities. Similar couponing structure, but their premium was only $29,500. And so that's what made their tick at $399. So we get the results, we do the calculation, we check it for accuracy, and we award the bid to the purchaser who provides the lowest true interest cost, and that was Robert W. Baird and Company. Because the interest rate came in lower than we were originally estimating, and to account for that premium that Baird bid, we were able to lower the size of the issue from $2,090,000 down to $2,010,000. So we lowered the issue by about $80,000, so you're paying interest on $80,000 less, which obviously saves you money. And that still provides enough funds to pay off the 2023 temporary notes and pay all cost of issuance or closing costs related to the financing. The closing date is scheduled for July the 2nd. Most of the funds will be shipped up to the state treasurer's office to pay off those temporary notes. The city will get a small portion to pay closing costs, cost of issuance, as well as a little bit of money for capitalized interest to help make the first interest payment. You actually have about half of that already. Robert W. Baird and Company was required to send a good faith deposit in the amount of, I think, $48,500. It was 2% of the original size of the issue as a good faith deposit. And so you've already got that. You're going to get the other half on July 2nd. But as I said, most of the funds will be shipped up to the state treasurer's office to redeem those temporary notes. The temporary notes are not technically due until December 1st, but we're redeeming them in advance, so you're saving a little bit of interest on those notes as well. I'd be happy to stand for any questions about the sale, about the financing. And if there's no questions, I'll turn it over to your bond counsel, J.T. Klaus, to talk about all the legal mumbo jumbo about the bond ordinance and the bond resolution required to set this thing forward to close the bond issue in early July.
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
You said that we have a A+ rating.
Yes, sir.
And these sold as a AA-. What did that statement mean? It sold like a AA-.
Okay, credit rating agencies have a scale. AAA is the best possible rating you can get. And below that is AA+, AA, AA-, and then right below AA- is an A+. So what I'm saying is
We sold up.
you sold up. You sold more like a AA- type credit. That's what I meant by that. And so I feel like we got a really good result, even though there was technically a downgrade in the rating.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before I
Doesn't look like
sick the attorney on you? Sorry?
It doesn't look like we have any more
Okay,
questions.
thank you very much.
J.T. Klaus, Spencer Fain, your bond counsel. Good to see you all again. So really, tonight's the culmination of all the special assessment projects and the Main Street sidewalk projects all into a bond issue. You've authorized it. We received the results from Brett late this morning, and we spend our day incorporating all of those results into the bond documents that you have to sign, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, and the city clerk. Then what we do is we take all of those bond documents back, and after publication in your official city newspaper, we will forward that all to the Attorney General and try to obtain the Attorney General's approval on the bond transcript, which will be about this thick. And that will allow us to close on the bond issue on, I think I've got July 17th in my head. Do I have it wrong? 16th, July 16th.
July 16th. Yeah, I misspoke. July 16th.
Okay.
I said second earlier, that was it.
Yeah, there's some holidays in there, and so we need some time to put the transcript together, and the Attorney General asked for 2 weeks to review the transcript, and hopefully they don't find anything wrong with it. And if they do, hopefully we can fix it. The incorporation, I will just tell you straight up front, of all of the terms today, what was interesting. Your bidder bid 3 different term bonds on the long bonds. Then they decided to get bond insurance. And all of that impacts my job and how I have to put things together. So I believe we've got everything incorporated. What your bond ordinance does that you have in front of you is it legally authorizes the issuance of the bonds. This is it. We're gonna borrow the money tonight. Then the bond resolution sets all the terms and provisions of the bonds, the interest rates, the repayment, the optional calls, the mandatory redemptions, everything that was in today's bid is contained in the resolution. You might ask why I do that in the resolution, and the answer is simple. It reduces the publication costs of the ordinance by incorporating the resolution by reference. So we only put the things in the ordinance that you need to do. I would be delighted to answer any questions, or if you want to know what I think about where you are, I'll be blunt and tell you that too. Whatever you'd like, but legally we're ready to go.
I'm curious, our bond rating dropped. We've just issued this. Does that affect it even, how is our bond rating gonna be after this?
Well, the bond rating incorporates this issuance, and Brett can feel free to disagree with me, but the whole reason you sought the bond rating was because you're borrowing this money.
Okay.
And so, that being said, you're not heavily leveraged in a technical respect. If you look at your ability to borrow money, I think we computed your statutory debt limit somewhere about just over $5 million that you could borrow, and for the bonds that count, which are non-utility bonds and things that count towards your statutory debt limit, you're still under $3 million. So you've got a lot of room there. That would be something I would say is good, that you have some statutory debt limit left to borrow money, because, you know, if you have an emergency and need to borrow money, you can. The downgrade is not great. I agree with Brett. First of all, I want to say, I think Stiefel did an exceptional job on this. The downgrade is not great. I'm just going to say that so that you know it. I think the downgrade actually takes you out of a category of cities that are very, very few and puts you in the category with everybody else. I mean, most second-class cities in the state of Kansas are probably rated A+, I think. I think that's fair to say. There are a few that have earned a AA- rating. That will get you a lower interest rate when you borrow money in the future. And so the downgrade here isn't great, but I absolutely agree with Brett. For some reason, I don't think you suffered any effects associated with it on this bond issue. I issued a bond opinion on a bond on Monday, as he pointed out, for a city that does have a AA- rating. 20-year special assessment bond, there would be a factor in there for them not being bank qualified because they're a little bit bigger, but quite frankly, their interest rate was higher than this. So I don't, you know, I can't explain that. Probably has something to do with the Strait of Hormuz, but I can't explain it. So you got a great interest rate. If we want to talk about things that worry me, you got a great interest rate. It's not ideal that you only have 2 bids. We'd really prefer to see 3 bids, and that's just because we have to do a whole lot of work on the internal revenue side to establish your issue price from a legal perspective when you only have 2 bids. But that being said, I think with the, and Brett may have a different opinion, but I think with the downgrade, honestly, I just think these rates are great. I think your bids are better than I expected, and so I'm not concerned physically about there being only 2 bids, mostly just myself and the extra legal work I have to do to qualify it all with the internal revenue service now that we only had 2 bids instead of 3. The other thing I would say about your issue that I think is important, the underwriter and the financial advisor pointed out that you borrowed money last year that you didn't tell anybody about. So today we did file. I just want you to know about it so you don't think it's bad. But we filed a failure to file notice for you with the Securities and Exchange Commission. These bonds are sold and traded in the public market. You're out there. In some respects, it's just like stocks being sold. So you have a duty to let the public know what your financial condition is. Every year you send in your audit and your financial information, and you had a fire engine lease that you incurred that you had 10 days to notify the world about. You didn't. We had to correct that because we can't do this bond offering without it. So we corrected it, and we noticed up that you didn't do it on time, and that will be in your OS for the next 5 years. So that's not perfect. The only reason I bring it up is in the future, just ask. If you're borrowing money, it's a good time to think about, do we need to tell somebody we're borrowing money? And the answer is almost always yes. So you had a KDHE loan, and Ethan actually fixed that and thought of it and called us, and so that was filed appropriately. And we did have to file your rating downgrade with Emma today too. So Julie took care of all of that. We prepared it all, and she's got it all filed today, I think. So you're all current, you're all up to speed. But if I were going to give some legal advice today, it would be watch when you're borrowing money. Everybody ask, do we need to tell somebody about this? Because if you ask, then of course it'll get fixed. And I'd say in closing that you just really have a remarkable outcome today in interest rate. I have every reason to believe that it will close on July 17th without issue. I think that legal documents are in order. Any other questions? I answer them straight, so if you ask me, I'm
Well, I appreciate that, I really do.
I'm gonna tell you, so.
Mayor and Felder need to personally sign these, or can we use a facsimile on them?
They need to be physically signed in ink. There's be no stamps on any of those legal documents. In addition, and I'm glad you asked me a question, there is going to be a bond bid form that we will get tomorrow that the company is signing that memorializes their bid to buy your bonds on July 17th. And we don't have that final signed bid form for them today. It's nothing to worry about. They've already sent their good faith deposit. It's going to be fine. We're going to get that tomorrow. We're going to probably email that to Julie, and then the mayor will need to sign that tomorrow. And I will need that one back. So your cruise is canceled. You need to be able to sign that one. But other than that, I think there's a note on there on when she'd like them back. And we'll be waiting on the publication anyway, so some time built in. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, what I need you to do is to vote and approve this ordinance that's in front of you in this resolution. I will say this, what was in your packet had blanks in it. It always does, there's no choice. But what we sent to Julie today and what you'll be signing does not have blanks in it, because we took everything that Brett sent us today and we've incorporated it all, so it's done.
Well, you were able to drop it from 2,090,000 to 2,010,000. That's the motion we want to make, the 10,000, is that right? 2,010,000?
The motion you want to make is to adopt the bond ordinance and the resolution I put in front of you. So if you just move to adopt ordinance number, I think it's 1306, did I remember?
1360.
1360, thank you. And resolution
2026-07.
all as prepared as by bond counsel and before you today. Everything's incorporated in that ordinance approves.
Well, the reason I ask is because right here it shows 2,090,000.
Yes, but he told us
That's
it
been
would drop to 2,010,000.
fixed. We have no choice but to put in the principal amount when the agenda goes out, but I just wanted you to know her ordinance says 2,010,000. So
Alright.
everything's been fixed.
Right.
Good
With that,
question, though, thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor, if there's no questions or discussion, I would make a motion to approve ordinance number 1360, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds in the amount of 2,090,000, subject to the revision of the city's bond council.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next.
Gotta scroll down.
Motion for resolution 2026.
Mr. Mayor, I can do that one. Motion to approve resolution number 2026-07, a resolution authorizing the issuance of directing the sale and delivery of general obligation bonds in the amount of $2,090,000. Am I saying
10,
that
2
right?
million 10. We all know it's 2,000,010. It's, as long as we all know what it is,
Yes.
it's fine.
Yeah,
Right.
okay, 2,010,000, subject to revision by the city's bond council.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
And that carries.
I just wanted to say, we appreciate working with you on this project, and, yeah, just wanted to say we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
work.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is Police Department Vehicle Replacement.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for letting me come talk today. Unfortunately, this is not for a planned expense. Background for that is May 27th, one of the officers was involved in a traffic accident. There was no injuries. However, that led to the vehicle which he was driving, a 2019 Dodge Charger, being totaled out. That vehicle was actually scheduled for replacement in 2028, so this is gonna push it a couple years sooner. Two options that I located were a 2023 Dodge Charger, which is used through the Kansas Highway Patrol, and then a new 25 Ford Explorer out of a dealership in Indiana. Couple benefits and negatives for each of them. The Charger actually already has almost 50,000 miles on it, so it would be a used vehicle without any warranty. Where the 25 Explorer is gonna have the full factory warranty with it. Anything goes wrong, obviously they'll take care of it. Cost-wise, you're looking at a difference of, 33,000 for a used vehicle and 58 for the new, with all the equipment. But again, the differences on that are gonna be, you're looking at 4 to 5 years of service life out of a used vehicle versus 8 to 10 with new. The breakdown that I would give is the 23 Charger, we are replacing a 2019 Charger. Around 55 to 65,000 miles, we had to put approximately $5,000 to $6,000 in that vehicle in just regular maintenance. The 23 Charger for Highway Patrol already has 50,000, so if that stands true, you're gonna be looking at pumping a decent amount of money into it in the next 10 to 15,000 miles, which makes it a little less attractive in my opinion. The other part of that is you're gonna replace it sooner, which is additional upfitting for a new vehicle, where if you do the new one, it's going to last almost double the service life. You have less of the upfitting cost and less changeover. That being said, some of the equipment will be transferred, such as the radio, the radar, computer, stuff that we can reuse, we will. And that's for both of them. Unfortunately, with the vehicle, it's vehicle-specific equipment, so we can't transfer it like to the Explorer. The positive of that is the accident was not the officer's fault, and the other insurance will be reimbursing us for the vehicle and equipment. What that total is, we don't know yet. We're still working through that process. Unfortunately, that's just not a number I have today because insurance moves slow. We've already found an upfitter that can get to it relatively quick. The normal, or the upfitters we've used previously, they're out 6 months. There's a company that is actually just started out of Bueller, that is a retired fire chief out of the Hutchinson Fire Department, and he's started a business. And with a new vehicle, we're looking at about 2.5 months to order all the equipment and then get it put in the vehicle and into service. The used vehicle would be about 2 weeks to get into service. That would be the only benefit I see to the used vehicle, is it would get into service faster. I guess I'll open it up to you guys for questions on positive versus negative on either way.
Is the
Chief, is it-
Explorer all-wheel drive
Yes,
versus the Charger is,
both of them are all-wheel drive.
both of them are?
Yes.
Is the 58,000 including the equipment transfer
Yes.
and the new equipment that you will need to
Yes,
put
that
into
is
that?
everything, decals, equipment inside it, yep, purchase of the vehicle and to have it shipped here from Indiana.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the purchase of
Hold
the
on.
2025.
I've got some questions.
Sorry, we're still talking about it.
You can
What-
always
what's
amend my,
over-
you can
I
always amend
appreciate
my
your
motion. You
enthusiasm.
can always amend my motion.
Well, what's the schedule of the replacement cars?
Right now, the goal is 10 years, if they're new.
But, well, we already have cars. What I'm worried about is that all of a sudden, with one of these, we need two cars.
Right, with the new one, if we go new and it's 8 to 10 years, it will not throw off the schedule. However, if we do the used one and it's only gonna be 4 to 5 years, that is a potential issue of having to replace two in 1 year. Does that answer your question?
That is
Yeah.
exactly what I
Okay,
wanted to know.
That's what I thought.
The,
Continue, huh?
I thought that was important to know.
yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
You might touch base on, just so the public knows, what the lights are specific. They go inside and they have to be for
Correct, yeah.
that particular
Yeah,
vehicle.
each vehicle, whether it's an Explorer, a Durango, Charger, they're all, that equipment is vehicle-specific, made for that specific vehicle, so it's not reusable. Everything from the lights in the visors to the cage, prisoner transport system that we use. So, there are a few exceptions to that, and we will reuse that equipment, like the radar and the radio. But the general, overall, most of it is not reusable because of that.
So Ethan, how does this work with unknown insurance? I mean, we have insurance, they have insurance, like,
Yeah, so any.
how does that, I mean, obviously, I mean, we have a fund that we can fund this, but then I mean, I don't know, can you explain a little bit on that, on the
Or
insurance
was this a
side?
no-fault thing?
So all capital equipment, that meets the definition of capital equipment for the city is purchased through the capital equipment fund. And so, yeah, any purchase you approve tonight would come from that fund. And then any insurance proceeds that get settled out, we would just deposit back into the fund. And so it would specifically go, into the police departments to be used for future, equipment purchases by the department. So say he's got $75,000 in there now, you approve the 33,000, it's gonna draw down his available balance for future, but then we get the insurance settlement for 25,000, that immediately goes in the equipment fund and replenishes that balance back up.
And I have been saving over the last few years, anticipating a car replacement, and I have put aside enough to make either purchase, so.
How many miles did that car have on it?
78,000 when it got totaled.
And in the life of a patrol car, what is that? Is that high, or they usually go several hundred thousand?
But, no, not usually that much, just because, the amount of time that's been in them, and like ours, that's 78,000 miles of in-town Halstead road driving
Doesn't count
versus.
the idling. time.
Right, and then the idle on top of that. I would estimate that if it would have made it its entire life in 2028, it probably would have gone out of service around 88 to 90,000 probably,
At all?
so.
I do have experience with the insurance thing, because we lost a fire truck in 2018, and that's the way it worked for us. It took a while to recoup the fund back in there when we got it.
Well, and essentially, I mean, it basically expedites, and it might work out more beneficial depending on that final insurance settlement, because if it naturally, like at the end of its life, had it transferred out, we would have, either auctioned it or found another department that was willing to buy it. And so the sale of that vehicle essentially would have done the same thing. The proceeds of that sale just go into the equipment fund and continue to bolster that balance. So.
I will comment on the insurance side of it. Josh has been working with the insured that was involved. and I've been working with K-Camp, our city insurer. They actually had good things to say about the insurance company Josh is working with, that they usually were pretty fair. And so I kind of felt a little better about that.
They've been
just
good
with
to work
them
with
saying
so
that.
far. They even already paid for the vehicle to be towed from the record lot to our garage so we could take the stuff out, and they're just waiting on us to get everything out to take it to the salvage yard now. So it's been actually very good. They've been easy to work with so far. We'll see when it comes time to talk money, what they say, but for now, it's been very good.
They probably don't want to meet Brad.
Charlie,
I'll continue.
there you go.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the purchase of a 2025 Ford Explorer from Montrose Auto Group and uplifting not to exceed $58,000.
Second.
For that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries.
Thank you.
I am a Mopar guy, though.
I know, it hurts.
What'd you say?
I'm a Mopar guy, so that, it's a little bit. of a
And we are ready for an executive session now. I'm a little surprised the Charger's an all-wheel drive.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve, make a motion in Halstead City Council recess into executive session to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to the consultation with attorney on matters that would be deemed privileged in attorney-client relationship, KSA 75-4319B2. And ask that in addition to the governing body, the following persons join the governing body in executive sessions: city manager, city attorney, the open meeting and governing body to reconvene in city council chambers at 8:10 PM.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Calling the council meeting back to order. No action taken, no action needed. And we are at governing body comments already? Charlie, what do you got? Any feelings?
Did you add something to the, no?
Just the executive.
That was it, the
Yeah.
only one, sorry, okay,
Nope, you're good.
okay, go.
Yeah, I had, I don't know how, I'm guessing Jim went to Wichita Conference for the
Jim
league?
forgot the
Jim
date.
forgot, okay, well, Jim, I got you
So, no,
covered.
I didn't make it, as Julie told me when I asked her.
I thought it was a really beneficial day. And some of the things, well, primarily what the league was looking for in the sessions that I attended is, are they doing what they need to do for their constituents? And notably, there's fewer Class 1 cities than there are Class 2s and 3s. And do they have the same interest, this kind of thing? One of the things in our group that we went over was the KLRD, which are the Kansas laws on bicycles, e-bikes, and scooters. You might want to look at that, and it's klrd.gov. No, just leave it at that. And some other schools had approached city councils, and those city councils are now twice a year holding their meetings during the school day at school, and their government classes are attending. And this is part of an effort on their part to promote civic engagement by students, by young people, because they've noticed a dramatic drop-off of concern and distrust of young people and just the citizenry at whole. So, and that was good. And some of the other things that they dealt with was promotions, doing promotions, like, right, the EDC can do some things, but a couple of towns, and I can't remember where they were, they used their media classes to make public service announcements and put it on the website and put it on their TV stations. And it was good for their kids to do that. They really enjoyed their kids taking on that task. Some of the other things, Mike King was there and talked about the tax proposals that came up last go-round. And there was 3 state legislators there, and each of them addressed this. And somebody asked him point blank, said, if you eliminate property tax, are you telling us that income tax and sales tax is what will fund our cities? They didn't answer that, because I know they're not going to try to answer that either. Then other things were groundwater, in particular, some parts of the state where they're getting pretty picky about when you can water your lawn, Hayes in particular, and there's a few others too. And lo and behold, battery storage and data centers, along with what George had asked before, when I got back, I got a hold of Chad Dove at the Learning Center. And they are in communication with Harvey County Health Department about a bicycle rodeo, is what they call. No certain dates for that to occur, but bicycle training, basically. So that's a good idea. Now, I don't know how many of you get the Harvey County or the Newton Kansan, if any of you, I don't know. But they had an article the other day, front page actually. Newton and Harvey County are working to improve student safety. You're going to love this, Ethan. Improving student safety through infrastructure projects like better sidewalks, crosswalks, and lighting. Driven by a survey results showing safety concerns as barriers to walking and biking to school. City of Newton has applied for Safe Routes to School grants. aiming to reduce traffic hazards and promote active transportation. Well, we did that in 2019. And I'm very grateful to Ethan and the councils for bringing that to fruition. Congratulations and thank you. I'm done.
Shauna?
No, nothing for me tonight.
Nothing? Jim?
Nothing from me.
Nothing for you. Oh, I know there should be something I should speak about. Speaking of the students, in my feelings, it would be better if we could bring them here, so you had the ambiance of the meeting room, and they could see that this is a very welcoming situation to be in, and participate in a council meeting.
Yeah, at a
Whether
time,
we had to,
in
if
the
we'd
auditorium,
to
you have a
change our-
captive audience.
We had a change in hours to facilitate that, or,
I did talk to Derek Shooting about it.
yeah?
And yes, he's the social studies teacher and government teacher. And he didn't want to discount it. He just thought, the logistics of it could be challenging.
Yeah.
And I realize that too with the filming and recording and having it available on YouTube. I understand that. But he didn't want to discount it. And I have not talked to the new superintendent about it. And I don't know whether to or not. I mean, maybe when we have a work session, we may discuss, do we want to pursue that? Another avenue that some other cities, which kind of surprised me, and I didn't know they could do this, in terms of their student civic involvement, they sponsor the kids to Boy State and Girl State. The cities do. And it's been held the last 23 years at K-State. I did it in 1967. And we went to KU. Whoopee. A year after the tornado hit Topeka. Yeah. So, the sky's the limit.
Roger?
On our work session, do we have the e-bikes and scooters? Is that part of that?
We can certainly add it.
I would request that we add it, and I would encourage everybody. There's some interesting laws that are, or classifications that are already out there for the e-bikes. I've discovered pretty much nothing on scooters, and any more. What you might have pictured in your head for scooters is one thing, but some of them are actually quite big and quite fast, and I think it's going to be a more complicated issue than you originally think. And even the classification for e-bikes, there's a whole bunch that you can order online that are off-road that are very commonly seen driving around towns. And so I think this is going to be a little bit tricky, and I would just encourage parents, if you're going to buy an e-bike, do some research and don't just buy the one that's on sale that looks good, because some of them are really electric motorcycles and should be treated as such with license and helmets and everything else. So
The one thing I got off of the state website was that parents, when you allow your child to operate one of those scooters, you are liable for everything that happens.
yeah, I think it's one of those things, it's kind of a landmine that people don't realize when they're buying some of these, the issues that go along with it. So other than that, just caution for folks, and look forward to the discussion at the work session.
And the one thing I was gonna bring up, and I was told Ethan has the information, is our survey on the speed limit that was put out. Do we have a return on that?
Yeah, we were gonna present that at the work session, but I can cover that with you now. Give me just a second to make sure I'm pulling up the right info.
Go
If
ahead.
you weren't ready to present on it, like, I think that it's fair, if you're not quite ready and you don't have it available, we can get it at another date, feels acceptable.
I mean, I can give it just, sorry, it's not visually
No, it's
presented
okay.
or
I'm
anything
just
like that,
trying to
but
make sure. I mean, I know how it is to be put on the spot
Yeah.
sometimes. I feel like if you weren't ready to present it, then that's okay.
no, we had 320 surveys come back, so, roughly, counting all utility accounts, we're a little over 900. So, you've got a fairly decent response rate for a survey. Based on that, of the 320, 240 of the responses wanted 30-mile-an-hour speed limits to remain. 39 opted for 25 miles an hour. 29 wanted the drop to 20 miles an hour, and then 12 we disqualified for various reasons. So, and Julie can talk to that. I can't remember. They might have been duplicate addresses.
Duplicate addresses, lack of addresses. We had a couple people walk in, throw the survey on the desk and say, I really don't care. So they didn't have a preference. Several were discounted because they lived out at the housing authority and put an address with no apartment. Well, I can't justify what apartment it is or whether it's a duplicate, so they were disqualified. But I will say that the ones that were disqualified were a variety. They weren't all 30, they weren't all 25, they weren't all 20. They were just random, so.
Of those, 75% basically responded to keep 30-mile-an-hour speed limits.
Very good. We've got a clear answer. I like that. George, what's on your mind?
Couple things. Is Scout Cabin on the work session? It won't take much time.
Yeah, we can add it.
I've got everything drawn up. I've got an entire list I just want to go over with everybody of what I think the issues are that we need addressed. And then I think we turn it over to Ethan and let him push it out to get bids on this thing. So I want to make sure to see if that Scout Cabin, like I said, a couple, 5 minutes is all I need. Came in the other day to pay my city bill and I realized I had parked in the handicap spot over here. So my question is, what's the possibility of getting that thing striped with a handicap logo in the middle of it? I think
The
it's
one in front of the building?
The one across the street.
Across, yeah, wood.
I think that was like, what is it, $300 ticket to park in the handicap spot?
It will be before we're done.
I say, wait a second, I can't be here. So there's that.
Yeah, let's just sign them.
I'll be getting it in the mail.
Now that you've confessed, he's got a ticket.
Another thing, we're talking about e-bikes, I don't know why, but young teenage boys, they kind of visit with me. They see me in my shop and they stop and visit and stuff. And I started talking with them about the e-bikes. And they've actually said their parents had talked to them about being safe, being aware. So, some people in town are actually listening to us. They're reading the paper. So that's a positive thing. And so 3 items. Yeah, that's all I had was those 3 items. But yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. City manager?
Thank you. So work is just about finished in its entirety for the Safe Routes to Schools Phase 1 improvement project. We have not yet scheduled that final walkthrough with KDOT or the contractor, but expect that it should be occurring in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. It is at this point, we would review any changes or alterations and know any potential impacts, if any financially. There was nothing major though, so we're not really anticipating any changes there. At this point, work that is currently ongoing is mostly related to noted items from the project inspectors, both the inspector working on behalf of the city and then KDOT as well. And they are continuing to review, as they continue to review the work, and then the site cleanup and rehab. Halstead Fire EMS, in conjunction with the other area EMS providers in Harvey County, have approached the county seeking additional funding at the county level for the provision of EMS services throughout the county. While no final decisions have been made by the county, we do appreciate their willingness to listen to the request and then the continued collaboration and cooperation we have with our fellow service providers. Wedgewood Golf Course has experienced flooding during the recent heavy rain events, and staff are currently doing outreach with the township to see if we can work to alleviate some of those issues that are caused from the road drainage. I will note also, we did have one of the drain lines from the pond in the spillway area at the golf course collapse during one of this storm, and golf course staff and Pat and his team are working on potential solutions. Depending on what we believe we might be able to do, we might also end up having to reach out for some preliminary engineering opinions related to the project, because it does kind of tie into the pond and some of the regulations with that. Annual cleaning and camera inspection for portions of the city's wastewater system occurred the previous weeks. Staff will review those inspection videos and work with the contractor on addressing any potential items or areas that were not addressed through the normal cleaning process. Concrete was poured today on Main Street, and the bricks will begin being relayed in that 200 block from the previous water repairs that were done. I will note that areas will remain blocked off even though after the bricks or put back just for a few days to allow the curing time for that underlying concrete. So if we'll get the barricades moved as soon as that concrete is cured, and it's good to put heavier weight than just the bricks on those areas again. The city's automated metering contractor has also been in town and is working on some meter system updates, both at individual meters and some of the receivers. These actions are trying to improve the overall functionality of the system and restore some meters that have not been relaying information appropriately or correctly to the system and have had to be manually read for a couple months. Staff are working with 2 private insurance companies, as you've all heard this evening, related to the accident with the patrol vehicle and the cemetery wall. Our insurer has also been apprised of both these incidents, but our goal in these situations is always to try and resolve completely with the third-party carrier, just so it doesn't go against us as a claim. So we will keep you all apprised as we get those to a resolution point. We have spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks, or since the last meeting, working with the city's financial advisor and bond counsel on finishing up the process for the bond marketing and sales. Included the ratings process, due diligence process, review of preliminary official statements, and updating the continuing disclosure files with the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. Work continues on the framework for the 2027 budget, and we now have information from Harvey County and the state on some of those revenue items, like our estimated valuation. So we're adding that in addition to the initial department funding and equipment requests, and should have that for you all and cover it during our work session on June 29th. Prime Craftsman Homes, who did a recent presentation that Councilmember Torres and Mayor Felber attended, and then you all should have received a copy of that presentation as well. We'll be having an open house and ribbon cutting for their manufacturing facility in Wichita next Thursday from 10:30 to 1 in the afternoon. If any of you would like to go to that to see their facility or learn more about what they're doing, please let me know, and I will be sure to RSVP for you and get you the address and location information so you can attend that if you will, or if you'd like to. Reminder that city offices and facilities will be closed this Friday, June 19th, in observation of the holiday. And while our next meeting will be on July 1st, I just also wanted to remind everyone now that fireworks sales and discharge dates remain unchanged from our existing and long-standing ordinance in the city, which means July 2nd through July 4th from 8 a.m. to midnight every day are the allowed dates and times for sales and discharge of fireworks in the city of Halstead for 2026. And that is all I have, unless anyone has any other questions I can answer.
Happy with that? I would accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.